Well, we've got time for some email.
Let's
Ready?
take them on.
Okay.
Bring them on.
This is Jay, who says, over the last few years, I racked up a tremendous amount of business debt. It was my fault. I have no way of paying it off. Could God answer my prayers to be delivered from debt, or is bankruptcy God's punishment for my poor decisions?
Jay, bankruptcy is not considered a punishment. It's considered a way out for over-indebted people, and it was passed to free debtors from the curse of poverty. So it isn't a bad thing. It's a good thing. I don't know. You know, the bankruptcy laws are kind of tough. The credit card companies got together and got some very stringent regulations passed recently. It used to be a lot easier. But there are two kinds. There's Chapter 11, which is a reorganization kind of bankruptcy. The other is Chapter 7, which is total liquidation. But there's some things you can keep out. But bankruptcy is not the worst thing in the world. Although you have a number of years, you've got that stigma hanging around that you went into bankruptcy. But it isn't God's curse. It is considered a benefit by the people who put it into play. So. And
also, you know, we have seen untold stories on this program of people who have been in terrible debt, and they began to follow the biblical principles of giving. Now, Jay, you might be doing that. I don't know. But if you're seriously in debt, you're probably not prioritizing that. So, you know, something to look at. Gail says, our church is either going to go bankrupt or face a bank takeover because they built a mega building using loans. Unfortunately, because of the recession, they haven't been able to pay the bills. We are troubled and ready to quit. Are we wrong to abandon ship?
Well, not necessarily. You're just a member. You don't take on all the obligations, although together, I don't know what you did and what your obligation was. I know of one church locally. They built a lovely building. They had a tremendous congregation, and unfortunately there was some immorality having to do with the leadership of the leader, and the church got into some trouble. And interestingly enough, another stronger church took over the building, started the services, and it's kept the ministry going. So it doesn't have to be some disaster. It turned out to be something good.
Yeah, that really requires seeking the Lord. When you've overextended, you have to humble yourself.
But what he's saying is, do I have to hang in? Well,
while they're working through all of this.
While they're working through, the question is, what was your obligation? I mean, how much were you giving? And you might want to continue that giving and go someplace else if you're not happy there, if they fouled up. But, you know, you don't have. I don't know what kind of an obligation you have taken on.
And said you'd commit to, So sometimes it's just your regular giving. Kay says, I heard that the only just reason for a divorce is adultery, but is it wrong to seek a divorce if your spouse has threatened your life in a heated rage?
There's something called the Pauline privilege, that where it says, if the unbeliever is pleased to depart, let them depart. The brother or sister is not bound in that case. And I believe there's such a thing as constructive desertion. For example, if you've got a husband who says he's going to kill you, I mean, you don't have to stay around and wait for him to do it. You know, you really don't. And that's constructive desertion. He's made it impossible for you to live with him. So under a case like that, I think the Pauline privilege applies. The brother or sister is not bound in that case. All right.
This is CJ, who says, I had a dream about a girl that I liked back when I was in 7th grade. She's now married. I'm also married, and quite happily, I might add. Why do I keep having a dream about her? Am I subconsciously sinning?
No, you're not sinning. It was a strong attachment. You know, what they call it puppy love, but those first romances, it sort of linger along with us, and there's nothing evil about it unless you fantasize. Now, if you,
you don't elaborate on what the dreams are that you're having.
It was Luther who said, you know, it's one thing to let birds fly over your head, it's something else to let them make a nest in your hair. So I think if you invite her and then you begin to fantasize, I'm having romance with her, blah, 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 then it's you're into a different world.
Exactly.
But thinking about a former girlfriend, hey.
Especially from the 7th grade, I think.
From the 7th grade, I mean, what kind of attachment can you possibly have any stronger than that? Your girlfriend in the 2nd grade. All right, the 7th grade, whatever. Well, that's all the time we have for today's show. Tomorrow, author Joel Rosenberg tells the way he believes America is in danger of an implosion. Today we leave you with these words from Psalm 120. I took my troubles to the Lord. I cried out to him, and he answered my prayer. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.